So hi everyone, I'm Trek Trav and you're on the Trek Trav channel. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe as always. Today we're looking at comments on the internet about Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. I have to wear my glasses while reading because I'm older. So we're going to look at why people don't like it, and we're going to read some of the good ones and why they do like it, and we're going to discuss that a little. So make sure you stick around as we will be doing Discovery first and then Picard. So on Rotten Tomatoes, talking like an American, on Rotten Tomatoes, Star Trek Discovery has a 36% average audience score and an 86% average tomato meter. So 86% is obviously people who work for Rotten Tomatoes, and average audience score is why. So on Rotten Tomatoes, I keep saying it that way. I don't know why. The audience score is 36% and the tomato meter is 86%. The tomato meter is critics and critics reviews. The average audience score is real people, and that real people, obviously a lot of bias to people who are on the internet a lot. So the first review we've got is a 2-star review. Says, as a standalone action series, it might be enjoyable, but does it not have character at all? A character and feel of Star Trek at all? Those who watched and enjoyed the series, like The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, will probably feel this is not for them. I don't feel that. I feel like, if anything, Discovery took a lot from Deep Space Nine, probably more from Deep Space Nine, and took it further. I get what they mean though. If you did like The Next Generation, it's gonna confuse the fuck out of you. This is from the first season, and it was from 3 days ago. So obviously, this person has either watched it all or has just decided to comment on the first season. Look, I don't agree. I think the first season definitely was difficult in terms of canon to take in. This one is another recent review. It was done May 31st of this year, so only a few weeks ago. I absolutely love this rendition of the Star Trek franchise. It keeps you on the grasp of what will happen next. If closed-minded people still thinking of the 21st century messages the suppose is trying to bring and divulge in their ability to open their eyes and show we are all just people that have gone through what our world is about to go through. If we will just learn to see a human being, not color, not shape, not sexual orientation, they are fighting for everyone to know their value and their worth and saving the universe, not just one race or sex. I absolutely love this show. Binged watched the whole thing and nearly clawed my eyes out when it was the last episode. If you're an open-minded human being and non-discriminatory, then this show is for you. Amazing work, writers, cast and crew, beautifully done. Now, Star Trek Discovery appeals to particularly LGBTQIA people. It also has disability representation. It also has color representation. Discovery found its voice through these minorities within society. So a lot of the hate, and I found this on Facebook, and we might go to Facebook after the third comment, tend to be from older white gentlemen, and not always, but a lot of the time, their views are very conservative. So our last Rotten Tomatoes comment is a 0.5 star rating, which is a low rating, can I point out. Whilst I love all the Trek series and films before this, I also thought the Kelvin Timeline films were good. I personally found this difficult to watch. I liked the overall concept, but found the actual writing pretty bad. I liked this is between Enterprise and Star Trek, and it's meant to be the same timeline as all the other Star Trek shows. I appreciate that technology cannot be shown to be as dated as the original series, but I felt this was way over the top. Ignoring the bad writing for a moment, if you don't get hung up on how different everything is, you might like it. I feel like, in terms of Discovery, I think that was what the older fans really got knocked by, was the sense that, oh my God, this is too different, this is too much change. There were certain things with the Klingons, for example, attaching their dead to the side of the Klingon ship, which Klingons don't do that. From other episodes, we've learned that they believe that the body is just a shell. The Klingon has gone to Tovakor or gone on the Planet of the Dead. So I get what they're saying, and I do find that although there are some damn fine episodes, particularly in the first season, I think this is once again May 28th, 2022. I think very much that the show got better after its third season. So I'm going to switch to Facebook now, and we're going to look for something in Facebook. So the first Facebook group we're going to look at is the Star Trek brackets Paramount Plus group, of which, as you can see, I've got a video on the featured video poll for my toxic fans. So if you want to go watch that, it is on my YouTube channel. Obviously, make sure to subscribe. So let's look at maybe one representation of someone being a little bit stupid with the comments. In our first group, in the Star Trek group, we've got a meme from with the captain and first officer of the Orville. And it says, "Some of you will hate me right now, but don't give a speak." It says, "Captain, this is a Star Trek group. Just act like we belong here and maybe they won't notice." That's what it says. You can see it here. And then the first comment written in there is, "It's the best show, second only to Strange New Worlds, outclassing boring Discovery and its forced fed fake integration." This is the kind of comment that you get on these. For some reason, there's this overall, I don't know how to put it, this hate towards Discovery and Picard that really just seems a bit like, are you okay? Because why would fed fake integration? What are you meaning? You mean no gays, no blacks, no people of color at all, no lesbians, no trans people? So in a universe which uses a Spock quote, say infinite diversity and infinite combination, it's for the Vulcans.
Infinite diversity from infinite combinations. Thank whatever created us. We are different, each of us and everything around us. To the end of time, if it ever does end, no combination will ever come up quite the same. I am an alien, and so are you. And yet, and this is the loveliest thing of all, somehow we're also part of each other and part of everything that is.
Glory.
You're saying, don't show me any diversity. I want this diversity to be completely the same. The interesting thing about this comment is it's not even on a comment that talks about Discovery or Picard at all. It's talking about how the Orville is very, very Star Trek. So what they're doing is basically going, I like the Orville. I like Strange New Worlds. I don't like Discovery and Picard and their force. Picard had no force. Seven and Raffi started having sex and they developed a relationship. Other than that, force representation wasn't there. So Discovery, the only one that shows representation, shows gay representation, LGBTQIA plus representation, and it shows people of color representation. What other representation, what one don't you like? And this is the kind of comment that you see a lot. So our next one is, I really enjoyed watching Discovery for the first time, but as I hit the third season and then 900 years in the future, keep wondering, where's those damn Voyager temporal police? Don't try to make sense of it. This is by a guy named John. Since Enterprise premiered, the writers have been lazy and stupid. It was apparently too much work to research the established Trek timeline to avoid contradictions that diminish plot credibility. The one big reason why many Trek fans don't get into any Trek series after Voyager. No, actually, Voyager is very much, the Discovery fans love Voyager. The Voyager, for some reason, speaks really, really strongly to people of the LGBTQIA community and people of color community and women. If anything, Star Trek Voyager, if I speak to anyone, and this is Australia, I don't know about America, if I speak to anyone about Voyager, they will say the bald captain, Captain Kirk, and the woman captain. That is what they will talk about. That's general people audience. Anyone who's into Star Trek will just go Deep Space Nine. So one of the first comments back was, actually, it makes perfect sense. They explained the first episode, or perhaps the second. The Temporal War is over, and all the time travel tech is illegal. This takes place after the Temporal voyage era, about 100 years before. So there are these reasons. People can look this stuff up. People can explain it, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to deal with that kind of issue. I got into Voyager, however, there's crap episodes. There's a few that surprised me though. Year of Hell, Scorpion, Deadlock. the Equinox, to name a few. So Voyager has a mixed writing thing, in my opinion, as well as other people's. But the people on these groups explain to them why they like it, which there is no reason why they wouldn't like it. And they explain to them why this temporal continuity wins. The biggest question I see popping up here is for Star Trek Picard, and we'll talk about it later. So another commenter obviously comes in and he talks about the temporal police. Yeah, some of y'all didn't really pay attention and want to cry about continuity when they did pay attention to it. The Temporal Cold War was centered in the 29th century, while Discovery went to the 31st century. The Temporal Police have no jurisdiction on their own future, only the past. And Disco's crew was subjected to a lot of scrutiny by Starfleet, just as they had the resources to offer, which allowed morals and qualms about time travels to be overlooked. People don't want to pay attention, but also it's a TV show. If you're worried about that kind of stuff, you need to calm down. It's an interesting comment, to say the least. So let's just look at one video from Gay Trek Geeks, which is also on Facebook. I may blow up my cat. And the post is from Bradley, and it says, "Angel is the best guest star on Modern Trek. I will not be taking questions at this time, thank you." So that representation of a non-binary character spoke to Bradley. Let's see what's in that comment section. So obviously the comment sections are things like, I was expecting her to say, "Of course I'm the captain. Have you not noticed my queer-coded villain aesthetic? I loved her in the episode. It looked like she was really enjoying herself." Then they use non-binary pronouns. So they're correcting themselves. The character did, the actor is a she, her. Totally agreed. I love this episode. Also, I need to see so much more of Nurse Chapel. It's refreshing to have a trans person play a villain for a change. I was really getting sick of all the self-esteem pep talks happening on Discovery. Her name is Jess James. How can you not fall in love? So even the gay community sees that there is some hollow pursuits within this. We're not going to talk about Star Trek Picard, so make sure you subscribe, come back. We're going to go through some more comments and make sure you see just what's going on. It'll be next week on Sunday. I've been Trek Trav. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment. Tell me what you think of these comments. Tell me your view of Discovery. Next week we'll talk about Picard and why people didn't like Picard. Overall, though, Star Trek Discovery had a lot to live up to. It was the first show after many years of not being a show. It was also their first show with two gay characters. They introduced non-binary characters. And yes, they were trying to appeal to a younger audience to get the Star Trek franchise on the go again. And obviously, I'm not part of that younger audience, and I notice when they say things. And to me, this is the part that's not written for me. This part's written for younger people, to be more accepting, to be more open. Infinite diversity in infinite combinations. I can't stress that enough. That is what Discovery took in heed and did. Unfortunately, production design doesn't matter to narrative. And the Discovery had a brilliant production design. It just didn't look like the original series of Star Trek. In terms of the Michael Burnham factor, in terms of her being the central character in all of Star Trek, Michael Burnham took what would have been a really interesting character, and we could have seen her sort of dealing with her role, and just made her the central focus for too long. And I think they started to fix that in season 3 and 4, but they really centered the show around her. So Star Trek Discovery is essentially Star Trek Michael Burnham. Although I like Sonequa Martin Green's character. I like Michael Burnham. I think she's a strong character. I think she shows empathy. I think showing sadness and showing vulnerability is not a weakness. And I think that is one thing her character shows that other Star Trek characters haven't shown. I think that is across the board. They deal with mental health. They deal with different LGBTQIA things, race things, color things, cultural things. Discovery is designed to introduce you to the concept of Star Trek. And it very much took up that in to overdrive by the end of season 3. And they nailed Pike and that in Discovery season 2. They've been improving most seasons. Season 4 I felt was the same, if not less interesting than season 3. But overall, it has the Star Trek idiom at its core.
Infinite diversity from infinite combinations.
Tell me what you think down below. I'll see you next week for Star Trek Picard comments. And I hope you like this video.